Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Mel, and if you're not new, maybe you've been here, you've seen a couple of videos, please do go ahead and like and subscribe. Help me grow my channel. I do have a goal to grow this channel to 500 subscribers by the end of this year, so be a part of my growth. Today we're going to be discussing the PDT rule, and if you're unfamiliar with the PDT rule, you probably haven't started trading yet, or maybe you have enough money to not run into this rule, but we will discuss it. And so if you're trying to gather all your information and you're trying to figure out how to start trading, well, this video is going to kind of give you some insight onto what you may run into when you do first start trading. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so first let's get into what the PDT rule is. The PDT rule stands for pattern day trader, and a pattern day trader, to qualify as a pattern day trader, you have to have at least $25,000 or more in a margin account. So the rule basically says that if you do have less than 25,000, you are only allowed to place 3 day trades in a 5 business day period. Okay, so let's define a day trade. A day trade is defined as the opening and closing of a trade in the same day. So if you open a trade, let's just say on Monday, but you hold it overnight, maybe you sell it later in the week, like Thursday or Friday, that is not considered a day trade. A day trade is opening it on Monday, closing it on Monday, and so forth. So the SEC and FINRA created this rule back in 2001, and the purpose of it was to try to mitigate some of the losses that new investors were accumulating, just kind of trying to offset some of it. And some people like it, some people hate it. The people who like it feels like, well, it kind of makes you a little bit more disciplined because you can't overtrade. But the people who dislike it feels like, well, how are you going to tell me what to do with my money? This is the money that I work for. You can't tell me how to use it, how to spend it. If I lose it all, that's on me. So in this video, if you are the investor, like I just mentioned, you are the person, you feel like you want a little bit more autonomy over how you spend your money or how you trade, you're able to trade. I'm going to give you three ways that you may be able to kind of get around it, the day trading rule. And the last example is actually what I've used, and I actually prefer it. So stick around. I'm going to show you 3 ways to capitalize on not being a pattern day trader. All right, so the first way that you may be able to kind of get around the PDT rule is to open up multiple brokerage accounts. So as mentioned, in a margin account, which a margin account is when the broker allows you to invest money using kind of like a loan. So just say, for example, if you do open a brokerage account, most trading platforms, they require you to deposit at least $2,000 to be able to trade margin. So let's just say, for example, you have $10,000. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, when the video first started, I told you that you need at least $25,000 to be considered a pattern day trader, meaning you can open and close however many trades you want. Well, let's just say you have $10,000 and you want to be able to open and close more than 3 day trades in a 5 business day period. Well, what you could do is you could break it up. And so the broker will usually give you 2 times your margin to hold trades overnight, and they will give you 4 times to hold or to day trade. So for example, if you have a $10,000 account and you have it all on one platform, so you would only be allowed to make 3 day trades in a 5 business day period, but the broker will usually multiply that by 2. So to hold a trade or trades overnight, you will have access to up to $20,000 in trading capital, and to do a day trade, you will have access to about $40,000, because the 10,000 times 2 is 20,000, and then the 10,000 times 4 is 40,000. So what some people like to do is they will take that and they will maybe split it down the middle. So instead of having 10,000 on one account, you would have maybe 5,000 on 2 different accounts. So now you're able to possibly open and close 6 day trades in a 5 business day period. The only downside to that is, like I mentioned, you will have access to less capital if you cut your money up, but you are able to make more day trades in a 5 business day period. The second way you may be able to get around the PDT rule is to open a cash account. So we've been talking about a margin account in this video, but I want to mention to you about a cash account. So a cash account is just that, it's a cash account. You're not trading with margin, which is the margin is what the broker gives you to be able to control more shares of a stock. But with a cash account, whatever you put on that account, that is all you're able to open. But the positive to that is you have no limitations on, the pattern day trade rule. You can open and close however many trades that you want to close. But once again, you're not you don't have any access to margin. So if you do open a cash account and you have a $10,000 account, that is all you're able to buy as far as shares. You only have access to $10,000 versus the $20,000 or the $40,000 that you did in a margin account. One downside that I will also say that applies to a cash account is that if you do just say open a trade on Monday and you do take profits, let's just say on Monday as well, you cannot open up another trade for about 2 days until that cash settles, and that's if you use the entire 10,000. So with that being said, what you could do in a cash account, instead of using the entire amount that you have on your cash account, maybe you could split it up and you could say, well, I'm gonna buy $3,000 worth of shares on this stock, I'm gonna buy $3,000 worth of shares on this stock, and I'm just gonna hold the other $4,000 until tomorrow, and then I'm able to, open up another trade the next day. So just remember that if you do trade with a cash account, even though you're not boxed into that three or less trades in a 5 business day period, you do have to wait till your cash settles. And then another thing with a cash account is if you are, trying to get into shorting a stock, you're not able to short a stock in a cash account, because to short a stock, you would have to borrow from the lender. You would have to borrow the shares. That's how shorting works. So you will be unable to short a stock in a cash account, and some brokerages even say that you aren't allowed to buy options in a cash account. So check with your brokerage, but I will say you cannot short in a cash account. You must have a margin account to short. All right, so the third and final way to kind of get around the PDT rule is to swing trade over day trading. So a day trade, once again, is defined as the opening closing of a stock or position in the same day, versus a swing trade is you maybe open a stock on Monday, you may hold it a couple of days or overnight or even a couple of weeks. I actually am a swing trader. I'm more of a swing trader than a day trader for that reason, because when I first started trading stocks, I was also boxed into the PDT rule. So just say, for example, if you buy a stock on Monday, right? You could buy a stock on Monday, you could sell it on Tuesday. You have not made a day trade because you opened it on Monday, you sold on Tuesday. Then you could turn around on Tuesday, open up another stock, and you could hold that stock overnight and sell that stock later in the week, maybe Wednesday or Friday or even next week. You could even open up 3 trades on the same day, and you could hold them all the way until the end of the week, because once again, the only way you are considered, or if it's considered a day trade, is if you open it and close it on the same day. One thing to be mindful of though when you are swinging, so if you're swinging over day trading, remember in a margin account, if you buy a stock and the brokerage gives you access to 2 times your money, remember that's all that you can take overnight. So back to that $10,000 trading account. If you have a $10,000 trading account and you, let's just say, buy, I don't know, $30,000 worth of stock, well, you're not going to be allowed to hold $30,000 overnight. You can day trade up to $30,000, but if you open up a whole bunch of stocks and you have shares worth $30,000, your broker is going to require you to close at least $10,000 worth of trades, because at this point you can only take over $20,000 overnight, which is 2 times your your capital. So just be mindful of that. I don't want you to be in a position where you may buy stock or stocks and you're over your overnight limit, and then your broker tells you got to close the position, and then you end up not being able to open another position in anyway, and just kind of defeating the whole purpose of the PDT rule and me explaining to you how to get around it. So just be mindful of that, okay? Always look at your overnight buying power if you are trying to swing trade. I do want to give a quick tip when it comes to swing trading and the PDT rule. If you do have less than a $25,000 account, and let's just say you open 3 positions on Monday with the intent to hold these positions overnight. Well, if you watch my risk management video, and if you haven't, I will link it in the description box below. If you watched that video and you took some of the pointers and you decided that you were going to get out at a certain position and you put in a stop loss, just remember that if you do set 3 trades and just say the market goes against you, some news came out, like for example what happened the other day when Biden dropped out and the market shot up the next morning. Well, if you were, let's just say, short and you opened up 3 trades and then this news came out midday, well, if that goes against you and you are stopped out of all 3 of your trades, you will not be able to make another day trade until 5 business days, which if you open that, it wouldn't be, if you opened it on a Monday, you wouldn't be able to trade again until the next Monday, okay? So just be mindful of that. That's the quick tip that I want to give you, because I myself I've had that happen to me before. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's all I had for you today. Just a quick video about the PDT rule, because things like that, those are small things, but things like that I feel like aren't discussed as much as they should, because one thing about the PDT rule, that was something that I just kind of had to get in, and it was like a trial and error thing. Once I learned how to trade, I was like, why is it that I can't open up a 4th trade on this day? And it was because you are only able to make 3 day trades in a 5 business day period if you have less than $25,000 in your margin account. Remember that margin account. So once again, we had the cash account that you could do. You could open up multiple brokerages, or like my favorite thing to do is to swing trade. And yeah, that's really it. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so. Once again, I'm trying to grow my channel to 500 subscribers. And I thank you guys so much for coming and lending out your time, because time is so precious. And that's the whole purpose of my channel, is to, promote financial literacy. That way, we're able to have the money where we don't always have to exchange our time for money. And we're able to, go on vacations with our family, or just even be around the people we love more often. So once again, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next. Oh, and then I forgot to mention to you guys, so I am starting something this coming up Sunday. It's something that I want to do for, just the everyday working American. You're not able to maybe watch stock news like most people who are just sitting around. Maybe you have a lot of money, you're able to sit around and watch the news like CNBC. You're able to kind of be in the know of what's going on. Well, Sunday, I'm going to start a series called the New Money Stock Series, and we'll be going over, things that happened in the previous week, upcoming week, things like earnings, any big news that may sway how the markets react. And even at the end of the video, I'm going to do a breakdown of trades that I entered, my setups, and my setups going into the next week or the following week. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that on Sunday. My plan is to release that by 6 p.m. each and every Sunday. But thank you guys for watching.